Welcome back. Welcome back. We move on now to the world of talent management. So, as you know, talent management is really becoming a crucial factor, a crucial function, crucial to ensure the right talent is in place to deliver on strategic company objectives. So it's all about relocating talent in line with strategic plans. But the questions still remain: how do these companies do it, and why is it so important talent management becomes strategic? And really, what is the future of talent management? Those are three questions, with a lot of others as well. Hopefully, in this next healthy panel discussion, we'll be able to answer right now. So I'm going to bring to this session right now, bring in the Chief of Research and Development at AFA. I'm the moderator for this session, Valentina Cholic-Mihailovic. Valentina, are you there? Hello, welcome. How are you?
Yes, hello, thank you.
Wonderful. Where are you right now? We'd love to know. Where are you right now, Valentina?
I'm in Belgrade.
Belgrade, again, so far, so near, yet so far. Right, I'll hand it over to you now. And remember, at the end of this session, I'll pop back in and ask the questions to you and the panel regarding everything that is shared. So over to you, Valentina.
That's great. Thank you. And thank you, everybody. My name is Valentina Cholic-Mihailovic, and I'm Head of Development at AFA. And today I'm going to host this panel session. So I would like to first make some short introduction. So as we all know, we are living in really interesting times in terms of changes at the workplace, and it's not just due to pandemic. So there is a tech revolution allowing us to work from any location and giving rise to collaborative work, project work, gig workers, etc. Then there is an increasing lifespan, bringing different generations to work together. Then changes in people expectations about their career, where we see people do not want to work for one company over their lifetime. And of course, the current situation with the pandemic, where people are completely reconsidering their careers and resigning from their work. We now live in a time dubbed as the Great Resignation. So with all this in mind, it is natural that talent management practices that we use so far, a majority of which were created back in 50s, do not work anymore. And the tools that were right for a stable environment, of course, just don't really fit these turbulent times. So it's never been harder to manage talent, and it is no question whether the talent management is a strategic question. It certainly is, and the pandemic just accelerated its shift from a service to a strategic function. But the question is whether the talent management is the right term for what we see is evolving at the moment. And maybe we should call it talent liberation or something else. So we will try to answer that question today and many more. And my guests today are Ivana Karanovic from Karanovic and Partners, Ola Pucicka from LinkedIn, and Sonja Burncic from Levi 9. So I would like to welcome my guests. Hello.
Hello.
Hello and
Hello.
Good morning. I hope we are all ready for a nice discussion. So I would first like to ask Ivana about the changes that we see nowadays in talent management from a strategic perspective. So according to a recent McKinsey survey, companies that can reallocate talent in line with their strategic plans are more than twice as likely to outperform their peers. And to link the talent to value, the best talent should be shifted into critical value-driving roles, which means moving away from traditional approach in which critical roles and talent are interchangeable, and moving to something which is not based on hierarchy. So Ivana, which kind of companies are successful in this? So what do companies need in order to to be able to reallocate talent in such way.
Thanks, Valentina. First, I need to say big thanks to both HR Week and AFA for promoting talent management, diversity and equality, and for enabling these discussions and knowledge sharing. And coming back to your question, I'm not familiar with that particular McKinsey survey you referred to, but to me, it seems quite logical that talent programs should not be based on hierarchy. And from my perspective and my experience, talent is everywhere. In our legal practice, we implemented strength-based approach, and that's how we do it, in a sense that we work with every colleague to define their strengths and then help them bring those talents to their full potential. In that way, we also learn how to match them with roles and positions where they will be happy and bring the value both to our clients and the teams. In this process, we also learn what competencies we need to develop on a general level and when we need focused individual work through coaching, for example. So if I would need to outline formula, it would be a deep understanding of the roles and required skills, knowing your people's talents, but each people's talent, and working together to sharpen those competencies. And finally, making those perfect matches of allocating a specific position the best people for those roles and projects. But on top of that, as you mentioned, pandemics brought the need that I would call extra flexibility and agility. We need to work with literally all our people. And I like the term you use, talent liberation. We can't work just with people that are marked as talent. We need to work with all of them, reskilling them constantly, discovering new talents or using existing capabilities in new manners, and then opening new possibilities. I truly see talent management not just as a strategic question, but top strategic priority. The education in our region is not adequate, and we need to work a lot with young people to get them ready for work. The effect of great resignation you mentioned requires from us as employers to work hard to keep our people. We must offer mental health support, meaningful work, learning opportunities, and in general, constantly listen and adjust to people's needs. And finally, the rapid pace of changes, as I mentioned, requires constant reskilling. So yeah, I don't see way forward without great dedication to talent management. Valentina, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you for the great introduction to the topic, I would say, and introduction to my next question that I wanted to ask Ola. Actually, it's similar. I wanted to hear from somebody who works in LinkedIn and really has an overview of what other companies are doing and where we are heading to. So I wanted to ask Ola also, what are the skills that HRs should focus on today in order for their companies to have competitive advantage in the future? Ivana mentioned many of them, but I guess you can give us some other perspective also, not just on HR, like HR knowledge and that they have, but that they can also transfer to their employees. So what's something that they should nurture?
Great. Thank you so much, Valentina. Thank you so much for the invitation. Happy to represent LinkedIn on this stage. You are correct. We are seeing lots of changes at the moment on the market, and across customers that we are working with, we see bigger demand on different type of skills that we have seen demand in the previous years. One of the things that I wanted to probably mention as well is that we kind of are shifting a little bit from the term big resignation. We kind of are shifting towards more big reshuffle. So what we are seeing is that the skills of yesterday are less in demand than the skills of the future. And when we are looking at the demand from perspective of companies that are trying to hire at the moment, and as well taking in the background the recent situation with the pandemic, few skills obviously emerged stronger than the others. Majority of the skills that we are looking at more than in previous years would be the soft skills. We obviously are still staying in the kind of tech savviness world, so that the hard skills are still massively in need, because obviously we move to work completely remotely and we need to learn new technologies in order to be able to work every day. But taking that on the side, what we are saying specifically, that few skills like emotional intelligence, creativity, flexibility and adaptability, or data literacy would be the fourth the most in demand at the moment. And then specifically, if we are looking at, say, flexibility and adaptability, we're specifically looking at obviously how quickly we need to adapt to the new situation across the globe. We need to adapt in order to work remotely. We need to adapt in order to support our employees. We need to adapt in order to provide them as much support as needed on demand. So that agile form of working at the moment is obviously in the most demand at the moment. If we are looking at emotional intelligence, I'm just going to mention a few things. Specifically, we are seeing the emerging of let's say leader of tomorrow, so or leader 2.0 or manager 2.0. So different types of skills in terms of management were required before pandemic. Now what we are seeing, those emerging leaders or brand new leaders who need to adjust to the new situations, they need to develop those skills related to emotional intelligence and support of their employees in the hardest times, whether this is psychological support, whether this is on-demand family support, empathy that you are giving to your employees and understanding their current situations. So those are the kind of skills that we are seeing from perspective of supporting our employees at the moment.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ola. Yeah, when we are talking about talent policies that can support development of such skills, and that can support this quick adaptability that we really need today due to these rapidly changing conditions. I would like to ask Sonia, what does she see as the most common novelties in companies' talent policies in order to support this?
Thank you, Valentina. I would also like to join Ivana in acknowledging term talent liberation is maybe something that we will use in the future. I very much like it. When I think we already summed up what the pandemic has taught us in general, and that indeed is flexibility. So how flexible we can be as companies, and also how flexible our employees can be when providing their services to their employers. So in general, I think the flexibility overall translates into personal approach and personalized journey that each employee will take. So and these the policies we have, all talent policies, they need to reflect that personalized journey. So they need to offer a variety of choices to our employees so that they can handpick what is best suited for them and handpick what is best suited for their personalized journey. And this is what I see actually happened within Levi 9 and also in most companies, is that we took a great look at our policies again, and then we actually were thinking how we can make them more adjustable and how we can actually offer these different possibilities to our employees. And I see that in travel policies, I see that in benefit policies, I see that in attendance policies. So now they have more choices and they can choose what is best suited for them. We also briefly mentioned performance management. So that is also something that has, I think, significantly changed in all companies. And we see that shift towards employees, they're being in charge of their own personal development, and they're actually telling the employers where they want to be in 2, 3, 5 years' time. What do they need in order for them to be there? What kind of support they need? So I think that is overall the biggest difference that I see in policies now, because there's no one size fits all. So we used to have 5 choices, now we have I say 30 choices. Of course, you cannot make the policies like indefinite number of possibilities. You need to somehow make the list, but the list is longer. So this is what I think is the biggest change that has happened.
Thank you. So the keywords are flexibility, personalization,
Absolutely.
and the choice. But what are the advantages and disadvantages of such approach compared to like structural and hierarchical approach and manager established goals? I guess there are much more benefits, but are there some disadvantages in this of this holacracy and democratization of all processes? So maybe I would ask Ivana to answer on this, but also I would like to hear your experience on this, Sonia, because I know that you in Levi 9 really recently introduced this approach. So I would like to hear how it looks like in practice.
Thanks for the question. I mean, for us, there was no other way. Since our beginning, we were taking that approach. And the reason is that the lawyers are highly independent and no directive approach would ever work for them. So from the very start, we were working with our people to understand their needs and ambitions and then outline personal journeys or individual programs. So we provide the framework in a sense that we have in-house trainings, e-learning, resources. We make sure to organize training that is relevant and useful and that will challenge our lawyers. And as a part of, feedback process, we discuss needs, development areas, and it's then up to each individual to decide which resources are best for them. So in a way, we together set the objective, but they choose the path. Lawyers being in general very result focused and competitive. When you add that individuality I mentioned, it came out to be really the best approach for us. So I really can't see any disadvantages. Of course, I mean, you need to put a lot of effort. For this approach to function in practice, you need to have extremely open culture that supports honesty, openness, 360 style of feedback, and you need to work on that all the time. It happens that juniors don't really feel like giving honest feedback to their managers, and we're constantly repeating the message, working with juniors to empower them, and working with seniors to remind them to make themselves available to their team members and really listen to feedback. So I would say self-development and democratization is not just leaving to people to decide what they will learn and whether they will learn or not, but building a culture when learning is valued and promoted, regardless of its form.
So it's something like incentivizing it. It's something like positive discipline for kids that we now see as a movement.
Marketing.
Yeah. And Sonia, how do you see that? And how do you from your perspective or from your company? How does your company make sure that employees upskill in the right direction and with the right pace, in line with company's strategic objectives?
Well, first step, I think, in all companies is making sure that employees really understand what the company's strategy is. Sometimes it's overlooked, and sometimes I think employers see it as a given, so that everybody knows what the strategy is, when indeed it really takes time to put the message down and to go and to explain to each employee where we want to be as a company and what are our strategic goals. So when everybody is clear on what our strategic goals are, then it's easy for them to organize their own goals and to organize their own self-development in order to help us achieve those goals. So I would say step one will be actually to go and share the message what is our strategy, and to share it over and over again, because sometimes it's overlooked and sometimes it's like, okay, well, you know where we want to be. And we recently also introduced new performance management process, which is also shifted from managers who were driving the process to employees who are now driving the process. And this is what we are actually advocating for. We are actually saying you as an employee are in the driving seat of your career. So you are the one who are asking the feedback on your performance. You're the one thinking about that feedback, sharing that feedback with your managers, with your peers, with your clients, discussing how you can do better. So what is it that you can do to make your work more meaningful, make your job more efficient. And we are also introducing, well, not introducing, we are trying to use the word empowerment more often, so that our employees actually feel empowered to drive their career in the direction they see fit. And we would like, as an employer, to empower them to take the charge actually and take the wheel of their career and tell us where do they want to go. So I would say it goes a little bit like that. So you explain the strategy, you say where you want to be, and then you ask your employees how we will get there. So tell me how you can help us to get there. And then our employees hopefully will feel empowered to actually think of a way how to get us to our strategy. And how we make sure, you ask how we make sure, we would like to, we are introducing coaching culture in Levi 9. So the way we want to do it is actually to ask the right question at the right time. So to go and have a talk with our employees and actually ask them, how they're doing, what we can do to help, and be a coach to our employees.
And the question just that came to me now is whether this personalization maybe increases the risk of individualism.
It does. It does. It does, and that is indeed what we are aiming for. Because we used to have, you need to have 5 goals in your performance or PDP. You need to make 1 goal for each quarter and something like that. But now we want really to make it personalized. So if you need time off, or you need to step down, or you need to rethink about your career path, take the time. You don't have to make 5 goals. You don't have to make any goals. So it's all about you, and it's all about your personalized journey. Of course, if the employees are not making any goals, or they're stepping back all the time, then coaching steps in, and then we step in and we say, okay, what's wrong? Because it's not natural for you to stay on the sidelines for so long. There's something wrong, because we expect that you want to grow, that you want to change, that you want to get better at your work every day. So if that's not happening, then it's something within our relationship that is wrong, and we need to understand what is it. So what's wrong.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. When we talk about that individualism versus some shared culture and this movement of holacracy and teams working together, and the benefits of the teamwork. Me, as somebody who's coming from the organization that is dealing with empowerment of women and with gender equality, I would like to ask now Ola about the importance of diversity and inclusion, because we all know, and numerous research shows that companies which nurture diversity perform better than their competitors. And this is especially true for gender diversity on executive positions. And it is shown also by some McKinsey research, I think, that teams that have gender diversity on executive positions are 20% more likely to outperform on profitability and 27% more likely to have superior value creation. So it is clear that we need to consider diversity in hiring and in promotion processes. But what is the role of learning and development as a talent management practice when it comes to diversity and inclusion?
Yeah, thank you so much, Valentina, for this question. I guess myself, I'm super passionate about this topic, so I can speak a little bit from my own experience and also a little bit from what we are encouraged L&D professionals to do in organizations. So I guess the number one thing is that diversity and inclusion isn't a one and done effort. So it doesn't happen that we are going to put a label, now we are a diverse organization and that's the statement of us. So I guess what we are encouraging our L&D professional to do is to facilitate a mindset change. To consider how they work around diversity and then connect overall leadership development and skills that are required in the organization in order to drive change. We all know that diverse teams are much better teams. So we all know that we need to encourage hiring a diverse talent to our organizations because that also kind of allowed people to work more creatively, and also it shows as well different backgrounds within the organization that helps push the organization forward. So we all know that, but I think what's important is that conversations on the leadership level need to happen in order to understand exactly what needs to be changed in the organization or how to shift the mindset in the organization. If you want to attract and retain the best diverse talent, then you need to give people the opportunity to learn and grow. Employees won't stay in the organizations unless great development will happen within their teams and then on the leadership level. So learning is critical. Skills are central to meaningful conversations, and then they are going to drive a change. So if the organization is going to invest in upskilling their teams, and they will give their teams the tools that will allow them to go and progress within their teams, and also for the future, thinking how the organization is supposed to look like and what kind of teams we want, then obviously not only we're going to have a benefit for the organization, but we're also going to keep the best talent within our teams. L&D leaders are charting a new course for learning and skills development at their companies. Beyond that, I think they are critical in terms of organization at the moment. They obviously are becoming super busy at the moment within all the shipments and then upskilling and reshuffling of skills within the organization. So I think the role of L&D professional is becoming critical, because it's not only bringing us into the space where we need to shift because of pandemic and what has happened recently across the globe, but also are shifting the mindset in the organizations very often towards the topics which are delicate and also often overlooked in the organization. So we like to say about the organization, oh yes, we are diverse, but actually when it comes to taking action and hiring diverse talent or empower women within the organization or give equal possibilities to our talent, it often is not the case. So I think through learning and through giving the abilities to our leaders and opening their eyes in order to see the gaps that we have within the organization and allowing them to understand what needs to happen in order to our organization go through the path of change is incredibly important. And I would say critical at the moment, because that would also allow our organization to be seen and then also act as a diverse organization.
Yeah, and these biases are usually unconscious. So yeah, thank you for pointing out the change of mindset and not only learning new skills and or just acquiring knowledge. And at one point you said that upskilling helps you retain talent, but I've also heard recently now in this in the light of this great resignation that when your talent is leaving, maybe you're just very good at upskilling. So what do you think about that notion?
I guess here at LinkedIn, we since forever, we always say nobody will stay in your organization forever. I mean, that's the end of the like you cannot keep somebody within your organization forever. So what we like to do within our organization, we love to acquire people into our teams, make them best in what they possibly can be or do, and then if needed, shift their roles within the organization depending how they want to grow in the future. And then what makes us super happy as an employer is to seeing those people thriving after, when they're leaving us on their new positions in new organizations. What often we are seeing is that people actually, when they depart in LinkedIn, they are saying amazing things about how LinkedIn allowed them to thrive and also develop new skills and become better at what they are doing. They go into other organizations, they acquire new skills which make them even more better at what they do, and they often are coming back to us equipped with these new skills that they acquired in the other organizations. So it's all good. We are super supportive of people also moving on in their career. We are not here to keep them within LinkedIn forever, but we often see that the culture that we are creating through learning and through enablement of allowing people to grow in the organization rather than keeping them and hiding them on their table, hopefully they're not going to leave, it actually is paying off, because they often, because of the culture that we created, they are coming back to us with this new equipped skills that they gain outside of LinkedIn.
I see. That's a great example. I mean, it's great that they sometimes come back, and I see Sonia is smiling because I know from some personal contacts that it's also quite often a case in Levi 9 that people come back and that the company is ready to accept them again. And I would like now to ask Ivana, as somebody who is working in Karanovic and Partners for very long, opposite of what we are talking now, people leaving. How do you see, Ivana, that all of that processes, talent management policies evolving, and also you as somebody who is in the company from when it was just 9 employees to now when it's, I think more than 200, right? How do you see talent management policies evolving, and how do you, is it possible? We know that the best talent practices are when they are not just supporting, but sometimes even driving companies' business strategies, and when executives are really engaged in actual company practices. And how is it possible in larger companies?
Well, as you mentioned, I mean, we are a big legal practice for this region, but we are a team of 200 people, so we're relatively quite small compared to companies with thousands of people. But yeah, I mean, you need great commitment from your leaders, and we have 30-something partners in our legal practice. And many of them started as trainees, so they grew within this culture of learning. I mean, we work together. We discuss the strategy. They want, the best for themselves as lawyers, to be the best lawyers for their clients. So they're ready to constantly learn, and they're eager to share, with me what they need and ideas how we can achieve that. So for us, talent management is a team effort, not just of the HR team, but we are all dedicated to that. And I think it actually, connects to the other question, how do we keep people? I mean, you will do everything, but if they're not happy, I mean, the needs in life are changing, and sometimes people need different environment or different incentives to be happy and to be better. And of course, I mean, you will support that and promote and look forward to cooperate with them on some negotiation or different transaction. So it's really important to have not just the leaders, the entire team on board to create, good programs. So we have a special program for juniors we call Generating Future, when we sit down once a year and have some kind of brainstorming or design thinking or creative workshop, where we want to learn where they want that, practice to grow, because they will be partners one day. And so we want to listen from them how they want our practice to look like in future.
Yeah, that seems as the only recipe for, for them to stay for that long in a company, especially now in these turbulent times when people are like easily deciding to move to some other companies. And here I see we have a question from the audience.
Hello.
Questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll just come in. I'll quickly ask those questions for you, and you can openly answer these in turn or just individually. So first of all, how to this is from Alexandra, in fact, how to balance between what employees need in terms of policy for benefits and what the company can financially provide. How can you make that balance?
Maybe I can step in. Well, when we think about benefits in general, there are two types of benefits. The benefit that is costing company zero, so it's only flexibility, and there are the benefits that are actually costing the company, and that can be translated into, will we give them this benefit or will we increase their salary, for example. So the not financial benefits like flexibility and so on, so they're there to increase employees' happiness and to create that personalized journey with their employer. And with the financial benefits, we have decided in Levi 9 to organize them into 3 sections, and that is health, that is culture, and that is fun. So these are the 3 aspects that they can actually choose, and within these 3 areas they can pick what they actually like. And we are thinking, okay, this is something that we want to provide for each employee on quarterly level, a bite out of these 3 areas, so where they want to go. And we are thinking, okay, we will give them incentive into spending more time, for example, in cultural events, or spending more time taking care of their health, or spending more time in fun activities. So if they have this benefit and if they indeed choose something from it, then hopefully they will indeed engage in these activities, and therefore they will be either healthier or happier, and then they will be better employees for us.
Thanks, Sonia. I'm just going to move forward on to the next questions just so we can get them all in. So again, this is actually from somebody called Maya. Maya says, what would be the first step to measure how efficient our talent management strategy is if we haven't done it so far? What would you say, Ola or even perhaps?
So I can maybe share from myself. I think the number one thing is to listen. So first of all, listen your employees, because I think currently the world is running so fast, and adapting to employees' needs is also extremely difficult. But what I would say, something that we are doing quite often, and how we are working with our customers across Europe and globally, we allowing them to use some of our solutions in order to create a survey every so often from listening their employees and understand what their needs are, but not necessarily from perspective only how they want to work, but also from perspective how they want to feel and what they want, how they feel and what they want to change in the organization. And that's allowed us and other organizations to adapt quite quickly to what is needed within the organization. That is also allowing us to measure the skills within our organizations and how we want to progress in terms of learning, for example, within our organization. and other organizations. So what I would say, listen to your employees, make sure that you are working with data. If you're working with surveys, make sure that depending how often you are running those surveys, that you are able to adapt changes within the organization or responses of your organization to what you have heard before you go into another survey within the organization. Because employees, what they require at the moment is that they want to give you quick feedback and they want you to act on it. So unless you are not ready to make a change after when you receive feedback from the employees, make sure that you're not going to run another survey where you're asking something again, but not providing the answer or change within the organization. So my answer, obviously, those are just very simple ones. But the first one is obviously listen to your employees, and then make sure work with your data to understand what is your current situation within the organization, across other companies on the market. If you're providing competitive benefits to your employees based on what is happening currently on the market, and then obviously make sure that you're going to work within your organization with leadership, with management, in order to provide changes and make a shift within the organization.
Okay, very, very lastly, and I'll bring you in. We can start with you even on this one, and then quickly go round very, very quickly with a couple of one-word answers. I love that idea that we heard earlier on about the big reshuffle and looking at those soft skills. They're so important anyway, but even more so today, right? And also looking at emerging leaders, and they really need to really focus in on those soft skills to really support the emotional side of their employees that are naturally going through so many different pressures and so many things happening. So if I was to ask you now, what advice would you give to emerging leaders that are listening to you right now? Just one or two words to help them tackle this emotional side of really supporting their employees. What would you say? One sentence from each of you.
Probably one, just listen to your people.
Okay.
You stole mine.
You stole it, Ivana.
Yeah, I think it's a joint message. Really listen to your people.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
And then be kind to yourself, because as you said, like, leaders are going through massive kind of pressure at the moment. So be kind to you. We all on the same boat. We all going through transformation, and we're not going to make a difference within a day. So look after
Great.
yourself as well.
And Valentina, what would you say? You'd love to hear your perspective.
Yeah, I would just add on this, as Ola said, not just listen to the people, but also to act upon it once you hear what they need.
Ladies, thank you so much. Ola, Ivana, Sonia, and naturally Valentina as well. It's been a healthy, productive discussion. And guess what? If anybody's missed this, they'll be able to watch it all again, every single word next week at some stage. Thank you so much. And again, anybody listening to this, if you want to reach out to any of the panelists and also Valentina as well, you can do that also. So thank you so much. Right, it's going very fast this morning already. We are moving on to our next session, which is simply our networking session. So remember, this is a chance for you to choose one of 3 different topics. Get involved, create that discussion, and give your perspectives. You choose which one you want to do. This will last for about 25 minutes or so. We have a host and a moderator sharing ideas on the topic. So this is your chance to really, for us to hear your voice and everybody else as well. And remember, after this is the perfect opportunity for some space to stroll around the HR Expo area, get to know some of the great vendors, the ideas from some of the concepts from some of the companies as well. Book your meetings and take a stroll this afternoon. We will be back here at 12 o'clock, talking all about talent management. So see you back at 12 for more HR Week 2021.